good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from. Welcome to The Truth About Us. If you're a returning listener, welcome back. I appreciate your attendance. If you are a first-time listener, I'm glad that you found us. This podcast was designed by me as a space for honest conversations about kind of the internal battles that many men face, but rarely, and I mean rarely, talk about out loud. So it's either from the pressure to provide or the expectations to stay strong or the quiet questions about identity and our purpose and the directions that we're trying to go. Here, we explore what it really means to navigate life, especially during the phases of our life where our confidence kind of shifts and gets lost, just like our identity wants to evolve, and the old version of our life no longer quite fits what we have become. So I'm your host, Don Crampert, and this is The Truth About Us. So as a reflection quickly, in the last episode, we talked about the quiet struggles of men and how we basically try to carry everything. Particularly, we try to do them alone. And another aspect of that is how we suppress what we feel, how we keep going no matter what. And if that hit home for you, this is what often comes next, what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about one of the most common and least understood experiences that many men face. And I call this the invisible phase of a man's life. See, at some point, many of us men begin to feel invisible. Sometimes we spend months and years and decades trying to become who everyone else needs us to be. And at some point, we stop feeling seen for who we want to be. And it doesn't happen in a traumatic and loud way. In fact, it's quite subtle. It's conversations start to feel a little surface level instead of very deep. We don't exactly express what we're thinking anymore. We kind of just absorb what's being said without a lot of feedback. We start keeping more to ourselves, Maybe, at least for me, you feel present but maybe not connected, even when we're in the room with people that we know. But we don't feel the same way about how we're being perceived or how felt we are in the room or with people around us that we know and we are close to. So I like to say this very clearly. This isn't about being ignored, okay? Because there is a big difference between being quiet or not felt and being ignored. This is about feeling unknown because we're not invisible because people don't see us. We see each other. And we're invisible because they don't know us anymore. In fact, we don't know us anymore sometimes. And if we're being honest about that, maybe we haven't been showing them who we are either. See, we have a responsibility in that phase of sharing. And if we don't show them who we want to become or who we are, then how are they going to know who we are and who we're trying to become? And sometimes sharing that truth, we don't even share that truth with ourselves. And it's not because we're fake, okay? It's because we've learned to kind of filter ourselves over time. We've learned to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to stay consistent, and we became easy to kind of be around. Does that sound familiar? But hard to truly know or understand all of that. And over time, the more we start to suppress and the more invisible we feel in that regard. And it's not just to others, but it's really to ourselves. So we want to be able to shift that. So now we're in this place where we're needed, but not necessarily understood. I mean, we're respected, but not deeply connected. And we're actually present, but we're not fully expressed. And that creates a kind of loneliness that most men don't even know how to explain it. So here's where things change. We don't get seen. Okay? And let me tell you how this really can be compromising. We don't get seen by staying hidden, men or women, but we don't get seen by staying hidden. Visibility isn't about being louder. It's about being more honest and more open and a little more vocal. See, the man that we're trying to become, he's the one who starts allowing himself to be known again. And it doesn't happen, and it's not going to happen all at once. It's going to happen in small, real, authentic moments. And here's these kind of authentic moments I'm talking about. Starting with an honest conversation. Having an honest conversation with unfiltered thoughts. Having an honest conversation with authentic thoughts and authentic presence. See, you start right there. So a microaction for us, if that's where we start being visible again, is in our next conversation. I want you to think about this. Say one thing that you would normally hold back. I know that we have a habit of holding something back, maybe because we're afraid of offending somebody, maybe we're afraid of hurting somebody's feelings, or maybe we're afraid of what judgment is being held back against us, either made up or even spoken about. But I want you to say one thing you would normally hold back. It's about intention here. It's something real and something honest, because that connection doesn't become real from perfection. It becomes real from you, the real you, and being known. So if this has kind of resonates with you, if you've been feeling that quiet disconnection, this is, again, your opportunity to change that. The next conversation, think about something that you would not have normally said and get it vocalized and say it. I highly suggest that in the midst of having tools to be yourself, reclaim your visibility again, I'd love for you to check out my Unstoppable Life app. And you can find it in the App Store. And I'd like you to go there, and I'd like you to click on Start Your Reset. And the reason why this reset was developed by me is it's nothing more than a place to determine where someone should start trying to change from struggle to living a life in freedom. And that reset is nothing more than a place to evaluate where we are and where we want to go. And if you want some additional information on how to go even a little deeper, visit my website, www.unstoppablelifenetwork.com. And there's a plethora of information in there. Start Your Reset is also in there. This podcast is in there. There's a lot of things that you can review that may help you take the step in the direction of living a life in freedom and being visible again. Tune in next week as we will even take this one step further in an episode I call What Success Stops Feeling Like Success. Because once we start realizing that we've been invisible, the next question is going to start to surface. What does the life I work so hard to build, why does the life I work so hard to build not feel the way I thought it would? Until next time, stop hiding in plain sight. Start allowing yourself to be seen again, because the truth is we were never meant to be invisible in the first place. We just stopped showing up as ourselves. Because this is the truth about us.